What do you do with that old boring car? You know, the one that no one would even take a second glance at, much less take a picture of it? Turn it into something else. The Scrap Daddy's Garage Tiki Bar Car. My budget for this project was $500 total. I bought the car for $450 from a coworker. It's a 2000 Saturn SL2. It's actually the first car I made a YouTube video on. So, with $50 left in the budget, I needed to think outside the box. The day after I got the car, we took a trip down to Wildwood, New Jersey, our favorite summer place, and I bought this t-shirt. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to make the car into a Woody. I'll cover the sides with wood from pallets I have lying around at work, and I'll make a giant surfboard out of bamboo. The first step was to harvest the pallet wood. I use a drill with a coring bit. You could buy these, but I actually make my own bit out of a lawn aerator tine, and I serrate the edges of it, and it works pretty quickly to dismember an entire pallet. Here's a close-up of the bit. I just serrate the edges of it, and here's a close-up of me trying to do it with one hand holding the camera. You do end up with some holes in the wood, but I think it just gives it a little bit more character. I traced out patterns that would fit on the doors and the fender, and I made duplicates for both sides at the same time, and cut little keyholes for the door locks. With everything cut and shaped, it was a matter of just attaching it onto the side of the car. I used construction adhesive and some wood screws. The Saturn has all plastic body panels, so the wood screws, pointy ends, just screwed right in, no problem. With the wood paneling done, I needed to turn my attention to the roof / giant surfboard on the top of the car. So I wanted the trunk lid to still be functional, to be able to open all the way. So I had to build a framework. I was going to attach it to the bumper, but after peeling the bumper back, there was no metal to attach to. So I needed to come up with a new plan to attach everything to the rear of the car. So here was my solution. I bolted 2-inch angle iron to the main structure of the car. I needed to cut away the tops of the plastic quarter panels in order to keep the trunk lid operable. And then the angle iron would give me a good base for me to weld the metal uprights to. All the metal I used for this project came out of the scrap pile at my shop. The square tubing came from an old shipping crate, and all the angle iron came from some old industrial shelving that was disassembled. Everything got bolted through the car to hold this whole contraption on in case I ever need to remove it. There's 10 bolts altogether. I drilled straight through the roof, sealed everything up. So I need this thing to be strong so I could use it to carry stuff around on later on. I wanted this vehicle to be multifunction. All the framework got MIG welded together. The little support bars that I put between the angle iron came from worn out weed whacker shafts. When the end of the spline wears down, they're basically good for nothing. So I have like 4-foot sections of perfect, nice round bar that I used to weld in as supports. I was planning to make the bar top and the back out of pallet wood, but I got very lucky when this happened. My nephew sends me a text, call me ASAP. So he says there's a tiki bar in the garbage. Oh, there it is. Uh-oh, someone else may be claiming it. Oh yeah, it's a tiki bar. It's a whole freaking bar. Ooh, awesome. Use the whole thing. We could use parts of it, definitely. And in Scrap Daddy tradition, it's all free. If it's free, it's for me. Perfect, just what I needed. This was a godsend. It saved me a ton of time. Trying to have to fabricate the whole bar top from scratch would have cost me hours of time, and I was on a real tight deadline to get this project done for the Jimmy Buffett show, which was the main goal of getting this thing built. I cut the bar top into 4 pieces so I could make a wraparound bar. The trunk lid is still 100% operable, so you could put all your bartending supplies in the trunk. The bartender could even fit in the trunk, as you've seen in one of my previous videos. I used the cross braces from the pallets that I took apart to reinforce the bottom of the bar top, because it was only made out of plywood with like a bamboo skin on the top of it, so that worked out really well. Now I needed to go get some bamboo to make the roof for my tiki hut. Deep in the bamboo plantation of South America, I will harvest my bamboo. Timber! Shouting timber really is inappropriate because bamboo technically is not wood. It's really just supersized grass. Here's all my supplies and the leftovers from the tiki bar that I'm going to use some pieces to do some other things with. This was just a rough fitting to figure out how much bamboo I would need to cover the roof and kind of what the spacing would be. I left the spacing on it really wide so it would allow wind to be able to pass through when you're driving on the highway, so the thing wouldn't act like a big sail slowing me down. Everything was attached with zip ties, wire, and rope, and on some of the pieces I even put a little bit of silicone in between to keep it from shaking and vibrating down the road when you're driving. The roof supports from the tiki bar I found in the garbage were sliced open so I could use them to cap off the square tubing that holds up the roof. So I cut notches with the saw and was able to slip them on and glue them and wire them into place. I gave them a quick coat of varnish, that with the bar top also, just to clean it up a little bit, and it came out pretty nice. The front of my surfboard, or hood ornament, was made to be removable also. It's metal bracing, and I screwed the bamboo onto it, and it could unbolt from the hood with like 4 screws. Every bar needs bar stools, so I quickly threw some together using pallet wood, of course. Brad nailer, stapled them together, some construction adhesive, and cross bracing from the bottom of the pallets to reinforce it. I made 2 stools. They fit right in the trunk, and in the future I got to make maybe a couple more that will nest into each other so I could carry more bar stools. The only thing I had to purchase for this project was 2 tubes of construction adhesive for $8 each, some wire, and some screws for like another $10, and a flex coupler for the car's exhaust online was $12. So we made it to the Jimmy Buffett concert on time. We had a blast. We used it many times since then. It's also used for hauling kayaks to the beach, and then we hang out there when we're finished kayaking.